Now lemme tell why all something strange. And nothing more American than a long stretch of empty highway and a no-name motel blinking in the dark. But sometimes, the road don't just lead you somewhere, it keeps you there. This here's the tale of a detour that never really ended. A place where check-in is easy, but check out that's a whole other story. Buckle up, folks. This is the motel at exit 109. Part 1, Vacancy for the Damned. Let me tell why all something that might chill your spine right through your favorite flannel. It happened on a cold October night a few years back, when I was driving cross-country from Reno to Nashville in an old pickup that drank gas like I drink coffee, fast, black, and always needin' more. I wasn't runnin' from anything, not exactly. Just tryin' to forget a bad deal, a worse woman, and the kind of week that makes a man question the very fabric of his luck. By the time I hit exit 109, it was well past midnight. The highway stretched thin behind me like a memory I didn't wanna revisit. My eyelids were heavier than a bar tab in Vegas, and the fog had rolled in like a slow ghost, swallowing the road ahead. That's when I saw it. A flickering neon sign, half lit, and buzzing like a wasp with a grudge, Vacancy, Sunset Inn. The S was dead, so it just read UNET Inn, which I reckon was about as ominous a welcome as a man could get. But I was dog-tired, and my dashboard was screaming low fuel like a banshee on payday. So I pulled in. The place looked like time forgot it. One of those old two-story joints from the 70s with yellowed curtains, rusted soda machines, and a front desk that smelled like mothballs and motor oil. There wasn't a soul in sight, just that buzzing sign and the kind of stillness that didn't feel natural. I rang the bell on the counter once, then twice. That's when she appeared. She looked like she hadn't aged in decades. Dressed in a faded blouse and a name tag that said Clarissa, she moved like a music box ballerina, mechanical, polite, and just a little too slow. "Room 6 is ready for you, Mr. Drew," she said before I even told her my name. Now, I should be turned around right then. Got back in the truck, fueled by caffeine and paranoia. But I didn't. I took the key. One of those old brass ones with a thick green tag. Room 6. The hallway smelled like mold and something older like forgotten secrets. I unlocked the door, and the room looked normal. Too normal. Like a movie set trying to be a motel room. I kicked off my boots and collapsed onto the bed. That's when I heard it. A low hum. Not from the TV. Not from the mini fridge. From the floor. It was coming up through the mattress like the building itself was breathing. Like it had lungs and thoughts and a dark little heart somewhere in the boiler room. I sat up fast. And I saw something in the mirror. Not me. Something behind me. Something wearing my face. More to come in part 2, The Man in Room 7. Let me know if you'd like me to continue with part 2 now. Part 2, The Man in Room 7. I spun around so fast I nearly gave myself whiplash. But when I looked behind me, nothing. Just the same old mildew-stained wallpaper and a dusty armchair sitting in the corner like it had been waiting to tell secrets. But that mirror, it didn't lie. I saw him. Or me. Or whatever the hell that thing was. Same face. Same busted nose from the bar fight in El Paso. Even wore the same flannel I had on. But the eyes. Those eyes weren't mine. Too wide. Too dark. Like they'd seen the other side of midnight and didn't come back whole. Now, look, I'm not a man who scares easy. I've driven through tornadoes, stood face to face with a bear once in Wyoming, and even survived 3 Thanksgivings at my ex-wife's parents' house. But that moment my stomach dropped like a boot off a rooftop. I stormed out into the hallway, heart slamming like a drum line. I needed answers, or at least some air that didn't taste like burnt copper. The motel was still quiet. Too quiet. Not even a hum from a vending machine. Just dead silence and flickering hallway lights that buzzed like they were thinking about blowing out. Then I heard it. Footsteps. Heavy ones. Slow. Coming from room 7, right next to mine. I crept up close, pressing my ear to the door like a kid at a keyhole. What I heard turned my blood to sleet. Sobbing. Deep, wet sobs. Not just sadness, despair. Like someone mourning their own life before it was even over. I knocked. No answer. I knocked again, this time harder. The sobbing stopped. Replaced by whispering low, rhythmic, almost like chanting. Now, I should ve walked away. Any reasonable man would. But I ain't ever claimed to be reasonable. So I tried the doorknob. Unlocked. The room inside was pitch black. I reached for the switch, but when the light clicked on, I damn near fell backward. The room was empty. Except it wasn't. Every surface, walls, floor, ceiling was covered in old motel key tags. Hundreds of them. Maybe thousands. Each one labeled with a room number, and a name. Not guests. Not famous folks. Just names. One caught my eye, room 6, Andrew Uncle Drew Caldwell. That was my name. Pinned right in the center. That S when the whispering started again, this time from behind me. I turned and saw the mirror in room 7 had cracked down the middle, and from inside it, that version of me, the other me, he was smiling. Then he spoke. You shouldn't have come, Drew. You're already checked in. The mirror shattered. And I bolted. Ran straight back to the front desk, slamming the bell over and over. But Clarissa wasn't there. The desk was empty except for a guest book. One of those old-fashioned leather-bound ledgers with pages yellowed by time. I flipped through it, fingers shaken. Every name. Every signature. Each one crossed out in red ink. Except the last one. Andrew Caldwell, room 6. Check-in, October 13th. Check-out. No date. Just a blank, to be concluded in part 3, room 0. Let me know when you're ready, and I'll take us all the way down to the motel's final secret. Part 3, room 0. I didn't sleep that night. Hell, I didn't even sit down. I paced that damn lobby like a man waiting on the devil himself. And maybe I was. Every so often, I'd glance at that guest book, my name sitting there like a death sentence, the checkout line blank, like time had stopped just for me. At 3:33 a.m. exactly, the lights flickered once, twice, then cut out. I stood in total darkness for a beat. Then the emergency lights kicked in, dim red bulbs that made the whole motel look like the inside of a horror movie. Shadows stretched longer than they should. Corners seemed to breathe. And from somewhere down the hall, I heard an elevator ding. Only, here's the thing. There was no elevator. Not in this one-story, run-down, middle-of-nowhere spot. But I followed the sound anyway, because by this point, I'd stopped pretending any of this made sense. The hallway seemed to stretch farther than I remembered, bending in a way that felt wrong. Like the walls were closing in behind me, nudging me forward. I passed room 7 again, door still open, mirror still shattered. Room 6, mine was glowing now, like something inside it was burning cold fire. And then, at the very end of the hallway. Room 0. A door I swear wasn't there before. No number plate. No handle. Just a keyhole that pulsed faint blue light like it had a heartbeat. And in my hand, don't ask me how, was a key. Not one of those plastic cards, but a real key. Old, iron, ice cold. The tag read, "Final stay." I pushed it in. The door opened inward with a sigh, like it was tired of being closed. Inside was a room that didn't belong in this world. Picture a motel suite crossed with a church, an asylum, and something you'd only see in a fever dream. The walls were lined with mirrors, but none of them showed me. They showed other versions of me. One with white hair. One with a bullet wound. One that looked happy, married, wearing a suit INT never owned. And in the center of the room, in a chair made of motel key tags, sat him. The other me. He looked older. Eyes hollow. Like he'd been waiting for decades. "I told you not to check in," he said. "But they always make sure you do. Every traveler. Every drifter. Every soul looking for rest when they shouldn't stop." I asked him, "What is this place?" He didn't answer. Just pointed behind me. I turned. On the far wall, there was one final mirror. But this one was different. It moved like water. Rippled like a living thing. And then I saw it. A highway. Deserted. Exit 109. My car, sitting alone on the shoulder, hazard still blinking. And me, my body slumped over the wheel. That chill you get when death brushes your spine, yeah. That's what I felt. Cold, clean, final. "I died," I whispered. "No," he said. "You're in between. Everyone who stops at exit 109 is. Car crashes, heart attacks, wrong turns. This place catches M. Holds M. Offers M a choice." I looked around at the mirrors. So many lives I could ve lived. So many I never did. "What's the choice?" I asked. He smiled, sad and tired. "You walk through the mirror, and you pick one. You don't get to go back. You don't get to keep your name. But you get another shot. One more stay." I looked at my reflection in the mirror. Not broken. Not bloody. Just, unfinished. I turned back. But he was gone. Just the key chair. Just the silence. And that mirror. So what did I do? I took a deep. And I stepped through. Epilogue, the room is still open. They say if you drive long enough on Highway 72, past where the map cuts off, past the cornfields and the broken gas stations, you'll see a flickering sign for a motel that don't exist. No GPS. No reviews. No name. Just exit 109. If you're lucky or maybe unlucky, you'll check in and find a man behind the desk who looks tired, but kind. He might even offer you a room. Might even look familiar. And if he does, tell him Uncle Drew says hi. But don't stay too long. Because once your name's in the book, you don't check out.